Hey everyone. Okay, am I broadcasting? There we go. Hi everyone, welcome back to a writing test series. Last week we had a bit of a problem with the broadcast, but hopefully this week it's fine. Okay, so we have a new question. Let's see. This one, as I said last time, I'm using the same question that I had last time when I had that problem. So here we've got, and again, I'm seeing that my broadcast isn't going so well. It's saying I've got dropped frames. I don't know why the speed is okay, but anyway, let's go. If there's a problem, just hit me up in the chat box and let me know. Alright, so this one was asked on the 12th of March. That's almost 11 days ago. When new cities are planned, it's important to build more parks or sports facilities rather than shopping centers. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Okay, cool, that's a good question. Unfortunately, it is still an opinion essay question. I was really hoping to find something different. But that's just how it is. Most of the time, you're going to see an opinion essay question, or perhaps discursive essays, or perhaps advantage. That's really just how it goes. Alright, so here, let me see. The first thing I'll want to do is I'll want to have my main ideas, because I really don't want to spend time thinking about what to write. And of course, time is of the essence. So I make these lists, and then I have to think. Do I think it's a good thing? Do I think it's something that needs to be done? Okay, I'm just checking my live stream, and it looks like it's not streaming. I don't know what the problem is. I really don't know. Can anyone see the video? Is it working? Okay, it says it's live, but I'm still seeing this bar that says waiting. I don't know why that is, and I don't think there's anyone in live chat either. I don't know why. Should I continue or should I just restart? It's kind of confusing. Hold on, there should be. I don't know why it says upcoming, but it's not broadcasting. It doesn't say live. I'm checking from. Oh, there we go. Okay, looks like I'm finally live. Whew, okay, I hope everything's going well now. Okay, my broadcast is still bad. I really don't know what's happening. But I'm going to go ahead with this anyway. Maybe just wait for 5 minutes. I don't know, it says my speed is like 55 kilobits, and then it's gone. Sometimes it's back to normal. Maybe I'll just do this tomorrow. Gosh, yeah, I don't think this is working out. I don't know why that is though. Let me just see if I can do something with my router. I had the same problem last week. Okay, well, it looks like it's fine now. I'm just gonna wait for a second and check my speed. Looks like it's okay. Yeah, probably good to continue. And there we go. The second I say I'm okay to continue, my speed drops. This is really infuriating. If anyone's watching, could you just let me know if you can hear me fine? Because it's saying I have a lot of dropped frames. So 33% of what I'm saying is it's not getting sent. It's not getting broadcasted. Gosh. And my internet speed is fine. I don't know what the problem is. Okay, I'm just gonna try. Let me see if it works. Okay. So, the first thing you need to do is, since it's an opinion essay, you need to be confident. Do I support this? Do I support that? Whatever it is, just pick something that's easy. You don't necessarily have to, you're not being judged for your opinion, okay? You're only being judged on the quality of your writing, of your use of language. That's all, okay? So, pick whatever is easy for you. In this case, I'll probably just say that maybe I disagree because I think both are important. You know, when you go to a park, you don't exactly spend money, but when you go to a shopping mall, of course you spend money. And that's really important for the economy because, of course, you know, the state derives taxes from it. Taxes keep everything running. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree. Um, First, I think my first reason is gonna be that any city, I mean, you need diversity. Not everyone, you know, is a sports fan, right? For example, where I live, you have really few sports facilities, and that's just because that's what people are like. So, I mean, sure, you could build more, you know, stadiums and stuff like that, but are they really going to get used? Maybe not so much, yeah. So, yeah, I think diversity is important, and so cities need to cater to a diverse range of interests. That's my first point because basically, I mean, you know, you cannot just say, okay, we're going to have more shopping malls or we're going to have more parks because I mean you have so many people in the city, you have millions of people in, you know, large cities, right? So it's kind of unfair, don't you think? It's just unfair to say that we should have more of this unless you've done some kind of survey and you know that people in this city, they really want more sports facilities. Then it's okay, but then again, you know, you really have to cater to most of the population, so I think it's kind of unfair. So everyone has different interests. You can use short forms, that's fine. This is just note making, so don't worry about it. And why else? Yeah, some facilities may not be used. It's a waste of public funds. Imagine you build a great big ground for people to play, you know, volleyball or whatever, basketball or whatever it is, and very few people use it. Then what's the point? All that money just went to waste, right? Because it's not like you can charge people money to enter a public ground. I mean, maybe you could, but I mean, that would be very unpopular. So that would just be a waste of public funds, and then you would have to, you know, repurpose that area, and then again, it would just be, I mean, it's not ideal, yeah. Everyone has different interests. Some facilities may not be used extensively. And what else? Why else do cities have to cater to a diverse range of interests? There should be enough, yeah. Not citizens, but residents. If there's less shopping malls, you're probably gonna you may even have people that decide, okay, I don't want to live in this town because there's not enough shopping malls and we have a huge family, and so we need to go like regularly, and we might have to drive over to the next town, you know, stuff like that. That can really influence decisions, and you might even see a problem with the city's population. Everyone needs to use a shopping mall, but not everyone needs to use a sports facility. And there's lots of people who never go to parks, so yeah. And then it's another concern is the economy. So let me see. A sports facility or a public park it's not revenue generating. I mean, I guess you could charge people a small fee, but then it's not going to be much. But when you go to a shopping mall, you spend quite a bit of money, right? And that's really important for the economy. So maybe I could say revenue generating stores and outlets are essential for the city. Okay, my screen has gone blank, so just a second. There you go. Money from taxes. There we go. Exactly. Now I have all of my ideas. I basically have my content all planned out here. See, if you do it first, it's very stress relieving, yeah. And then I have to check if these ideas are good, if the arrangement is fine. I think some facilities, there should be enough facilities for all residents. This should maybe be number 2. What's happening here? Okay. And this one. And here, I think I'm gonna go with this. There we go. I think it's, no, I should probably change it. Yeah, maybe something else. Revenue generating stores and outlets are essential. Why? People spend quite a bit of money. I'm writing a whole sentence. Why am I doing that? That's kind of pointless. Okay. I'm gonna put that as number 1. Of course, I mean, where are you going to spend your money? There's nothing in a park for you to spend your money on. Okay, and then that's good enough. I'm gonna go ahead with I think maybe this should be here. This makes a lot more sense the way I'm thinking about it, the kind of transitions I'm gonna use. Yeah, I think this is better. There we go. Okay, and then I'm gonna write my introduction. Let me see. Town plan. What do they call? I think they're called planners, right? Work hand in hand to ensure that they build efficient and comfortable cities and towns to ensure maximum satisfaction for all residents, not just a few, right? In light of this, it is essential, it is important, it is essential, it is absolutely necessary, right? It is important to understand that prioritizing there we go. I know the language used can be a bit overwhelming for some people. I often get people telling me, but I can't use words like that. That's okay. This is just a way for you to learn things. You might have different ideas. I mean, you may not have the same main idea as I do. You may not have the same supporting idea as I do. You may not use the same transitions I do. That's okay. That's how you learn. So, and in fact, I think if you come across words or content when you're just going about your life, I think it's a good idea to maybe have like for whichever browser you're using, there's probably some kind of extension that you can download, and you can just double click on a word and you figure out the meaning, the definition for it, or you can even translate it to your own language, whichever language you speak. There's so many tools. Please use them. Okay, and then I've got my first main idea. I'm gonna copy that. Cities need to cater to a diverse range of interests. Given the fact that any city will have, and the word city usually refers to a place, a geopolitical entity that usually has more residents compared to a town. A town is usually considered to be a smaller place. Of course, the definition varies from country to country. You can even call something a city if it has just 200,000, 500,000 residents. But yeah, any city will have at the very least and any city will have at the very least a few 100,000. Whichever country you live in may have different measurement units. Try and use standard units like 100,000, a million, etc. Try to avoid any local units of measurement. because they may not be understood in the English-speaking world. So I'll try and use these instead. At the very least, a few 100,000 residents, it makes little sense to not consider their interests and only plan one type of recreational facility, because everyone has different interests. Naturally, this means that all types of facilities must be built to ensure that most residents' needs can be sufficiently met within the city limits, and that they don't need to unnecessarily travel elsewhere. But I think that might be a bit too big, so let's see. There should be enough facilities. This means that naturally I need to have a punctuation mark here. Naturally, this means that all types of facilities must be built to ensure that most residents' needs can be sufficiently met within the city limits without inconveniencing any of them or making them have to travel elsewhere or consider moving out, right? Especially, if you've got like kids, if you've got a family, you might think, why should I live in a city where I don't have the facilities that I need, right? They might consider moving, and that's obviously not a good idea. Like, you don't want your city's population to, decline, right? Because if you have less people, you have less taxpayers, you have less people buying things, you have less people for the economy. It's disastrous. And finally, some facilities, and let me see, which transition should I use over here? You'll notice that I don't use the typical, in addition, first, secondly, thirdly, etc. I'm not saying those are bad, but it depends on what kind of score you're looking for, what your own current abilities are like. There's many factors, it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. But the higher your requirement is, the more polished your writing needs to be, right? That goes for any exam. I was recently given a huge shock because I'm going to have an oral exam for German pretty soon. I think it's on the 10th of April or something like that. Sunday, I don't know which one that is, 10th or 11th. So anyway, I've got, we have speaking, right? We have something very similar to what we have on the IELTS. We have this little cue card thing, and we need to talk about a whole bunch of things. Like, you have 4 pointers, in fact. And it's just A2, it's just like there's 6 levels, right? And A2 is just a second level. It's not very high. And yet they expect us to have introductions and conclusions in our responses, which I personally, and professionally, I find it a bit awkward. I don't think that's natural speaking, because, you never have. Just imagine you call your friend, do you have an introduction and a conclusion? Gosh, that would be so weird. But anyway, any test is going to be somewhat unnatural. It's just, you just got to deal with it, honestly. Okay. So, what was I thinking about? Right. Let me just read my work, because you never know. A mistake can pop up anytime. Given the fact that any city will have the right least. Okay, good. It makes little sense. Not personal. This means that all types of facilities will be built should ideally, okay, making them have to travel elsewhere or consider moving elsewhere. I should use this form. What I just did was related to gerund infinitives. You cannot have, for example, to dance or sleeping. It has to be before and after or, and before and after and. The word type has to be the same. So if you have an adjective before and after and, also you need an adjective. Okay. And finally, some facilities may not be used extensively. Another major concern is that if such facilities which only serve a small percentage of the populace are built, they may not be used extensively, which would only end up being being a waste of public funds. You have a responsibility to use people's money effectively, yeah? Of course, that's rarely ever the case, but we can dream. So, if, let me see, if recreational facilities or if a city, if planners or if the government, right? If the government, if local government or municipal government, if the government wants to build an ideal city, they need to consider various viewpoints. Not just that I want to build, sports facilities, etc., and not building one thing at the cost of another thing, right? And then I have my next one. Wow, this is quick. We've only been 22 minutes in, and I've already done with pretty much half the essay. That's a good sign. Okay. And people spend quite a bit of money. Is that when people travel, when people visit shopping malls and, retail stores, I've already said, okay, retail outlets, they, I think it's fine. When people visit shopping malls and retail stores, most of them, you don't always go to a mall and buy something, but most of them end up spending quite a bit of money because they go there to buy things, right? Buy products that they need. This, however, does not happen in parks or fields, as there is hardly anything to purchase. Right? Due to this, little to no money can be generated from the users of such facilities, of such places, right? Any public facility cannot be supremely expensive anyway. And even if some money is, generated, or collected, it won't amount to much. It would not amount to much, since public facilities tend to be, or have to be, or should be rather, see, there's so many words you can use, be kept easy to access and affordable, if not free. As is obvious, a store goer pays indirect taxes, which are valuable for the economy, as these taxes can then be used for the city's development. But nothing of this sort can happen. I think maybe I'd be saying the same thing if I repeated myself, so I don't want to repeat myself. As obvious, a store goer pays indirect taxes when they purchase goods. Okay, so this is then wrong, which is valuable for the economy, as these taxes can then be used for city's development. But nothing of this sort can happen through visitors of parks. Therefore, concerns about the economy need to be these concerns need to be addressed. I think they have to be placed they kind of have to be up there. They have to be considered to be more important than these things. I mean, you cannot just give away everything for free, right? Concerns about the economy need to be addressed when considering any plans, any development in a city. There we go. And finally, our conclusion. Wow, that was quick. Let me see. I don't know. It looks like these paragraphs are kind of small. Let me just check. It's probably good enough. Maybe I'm just overreacting, but I would still like to check because it's smaller than what I usually write. I can just get the feel. Okay, that's 143 words. That's good enough. I think this one is a little bit bigger than probably 160 or something. Yeah, 160. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. That's not a big deal, I don't think. Okay, and then finally, our conclusion. We can just go back to full screen mode. And there we go. So in conclusion, it is obvious, it is clear, it is evident that favoring one type of development over the other. Yeah, maybe I should change this word. Considering building anything new. There we go. So, favoring one type of development over the other is likely to have devastating consequences, likely to result in many issues that okay, well, I have to look at my main ideas. It's not a good idea. I think I can just say that is not a great idea because all people need to have their all residents deserve, right? They deserve to have their needs taken care of, and this in turn also helps the city's development. In their developmental goals. Yeah. If planning is done haphazardly, for inhabitants, it could potentially cause a lot of losses, maybe not devastation, right, but losses, and could even risk the city's futures. There we go. Wow, that was really 419 words. That's a pretty good length. You don't have to write something so big, of course. Always remember that. This is just my way of doing things. I'll just go back to, let me just go back to full screen mode so I can explain a couple things. Right, so here we've got our first body paragraph and the introduction as well, which you can have a look at. It's good content. I mean, just pick something that's easy for you, right? Especially if you have an opinion essay, there you have the choice. You can decide what you want to write about, right? But of course, with freedom comes responsibility. The main idea is here, as I explained in, I think, previous videos. When you have an opinion essay, the main ideas have to be written very carefully because you have to think of them entirely from scratch. But that's a great opportunity because you get to write about what you really want. Always choose something that's easy for you. Maybe because I have a background in economics, this was kind of easy for me, but then again, this paragraph has nothing to do with economics anyway. So remember, it's just simple things, simple things from your own life, from the news that you read. So try and consume more content. That's always the most important thing when it comes to improving your language skills in any language, not just in English. And I'm speaking from first-hand experience. I'm currently learning 2 other languages. Maybe I'll add a 3rd one this year. All of the things I learn, I use them in my own teaching, and it helps me understand what a student goes through because I am also a student, right? There we go. That's the last paragraph. Pretty good. I'm surprised it ended so soon. Usually it takes about an hour or something. But yeah, I think that's all for today. We're not doing these Speaking Saturday things, I know. I might start them once my exams are finished because I do have some tests and stuff, but I'll probably be free, I think, by mid-April, and we're probably going to be a bit more regular then because my assistant will be back as well, which is something I'm really looking forward to. Alright then, so I'll see you next week with a brand new essay. Until then, just make sure that you watch other videos as well to get some more ideas for your content. Bye-bye!